Hey everyone, welcome to PunkCast. My name is William Maxwell. I'm a student of Web3 and the owner of Punk2977. CryptoPunks are 10,000 uniquely generated characters stored permanently on the Ethereum blockchain. No punk is the same. This is a show dedicated to celebrating the punks behind the punk. My hope for this podcast is that we capture the essence of the punk culture, elevate the brand and the individual behind the punk. One last thing. Projects discussed on the show is not financial advice. Crypto and NFTs are a volatile and risky asset class. Please always do your own research. Other than that, let's go. Hi everyone, welcome back to another episode of PunkCast. Today we're back with Punk2977. She's got 3 attributes: straight dark hair, hot lipstick, and the punkish clown green eyes. In real life, she's an entrepreneur and founder of Asian, an NFT collection of beautiful Asian women celebrating Asian culture. Please welcome the lovely Asian Mom to the show. Asian Mom, how are you?
Hi, hello. Thanks, Max. Thanks for having me. Really excited to be here.
No, excited to have you on. It was nice sort of connecting with you at Punk's Brunch, and I think Zaf was telling me that you're a bit of a celebrity, so it'd be good to unpack some of that story.
No, I'm not. Zaf is a celebrity. She's a celebrity. Like every conference I go to, she's always there. Yeah, so she is the real celebrity. Yeah,
she's lovely. She's everywhere. She's doing speaking engagements, and she's got quite the profile, especially here in Asia, anyway. But all right, maybe we can just start off with your handle, Asian Mom, spelt with an 8. How did you come up with that handle? What's the story behind that?
This is really interesting. Yeah, so I actually have my own NFT project called 8sian, and how that started is because 3 years ago when I was in the space, there isn't any Asian women representation. And I was like, I'm just going to be the first. So as an Asian woman myself, I wanted to have an Asian woman NFT. And we were thinking of the names, my co-founder and I, we were thinking like, hey, what should we call it? And then we wanted something generic at the same time. There's like a twist to it. So we really wanted to use the word Asian, but not, literally, just spelling it ASIAN. And then we said, hey, what if we replace the A with the 8? Because in the Asian culture, 8, it's like a good, like everybody just loves the number 8. It's like, it's a lucky number. And if you turn it, clockwise, it's actually an infinity sign, which is good as well. So we said, you know what, let's just call it 8sian. And then because I'm a mom with 2 kids, so I was like, yeah, that makes sense. 8sian mom. So that's me.
Nice. Why do you think there's not a lot of, first off, Asians in the NFT space, and 2 women in the space?
This is a really good question. So when I was in the space 2 years ago, I was actually in a few projects. I'm not going to mention which project, but it's like a cute animal PFP projects. And when I was trying to get along with the community back then on Discord, I was introducing myself. I said, hey, my name is Nicole. I'm from Malaysia. And, surprisingly enough, I was actually kind of bullied and being called out. Because back then, 3 years ago, if you guys are in the space, you know that in Discord, all of the chat that you guys are talking about is usually like beer, poker, girls, cars, like all that kind of stuff, right? So then people started saying that, oh, this is not a, place for girls, right? And back then it was really male dominated. I would say 99% of them are guys, there are definitely girls inside, but the girls are probably just hiding. And I was the one that said, hey, I'm Nicole here, and then it was really funny because the members started tagging the moderator and be like, kick her out. And then it was like a chain message where everyone started chanting, like kick her out. So then, there is a saying where it says that if you're not invited to a table, you create your own table. So as an Asian woman, that's what I did. And that's how 8sian was created. I don't know how to code. I can't draw. I don't have any, talents. But I just managed to just gather up a team and just launch this. So at first, it was just kind of like a side hobby thing because I wanted to have an NFT that I could use and I could be proud of. And when we launched on December 2020, we actually sold out 2 weeks after. So then that's what happened. Yeah, that's what happened. And then ever since, we have been building the brand, building the IP, doing a lot of B2B collaborations. So yeah, I do think, why is there not enough women in the space? I think it's because back then NFTs are kind of it's kind of like an investment thing where people are in not for the art but to make money. And if you look at in a general perspective, men are usually tend to take more risk. For us women, we would really just observe, and then we would probably be more cautious with our investments. And guys are just like like invisible rock, take my money. It's like
I can see that actually.
Yeah, so I think that is I think that is probably the reason why guys don't really think that much. They just probably just be like, this invisible rock, I want to do it. FOMO, let me buy it, right? Yeah.
That's interesting. I think you make a good point. I think when crypto started, I mean, we were just mostly into Bitcoin and altcoins, fungible tokens. But I think when we're starting to transition to NFTs, it's a little bit more about art and culture, right? So hopefully it becomes a bit more appealing for more women to sort of join the space. And and I love sort of talking to punks, female punks, because they're sort of starting to pop up and appear. And I think the last couple episodes were all female punks as well, right? So would love to sort of
I love
get
that.
that. Yeah, exactly. Love to get that a bit more representation from the female crew. Well, welcome to the show, Nicole. I guess maybe you could sort of start us off with, I guess, your background, your story. I just had a look at your website, and I'm just going to pick up a quote. Maybe we could start there because I find this really super fascinating because I can totally relate. Your quote was, "Growing up, I was taught about the culture, but was never proud of my identity and never had an interest to learn the Chinese language. I idolized the Western way of life and unknowingly had forgotten about my own heritage." So could you elaborate on, I guess, the context of that and help us understand your personal journey, everything sort of leading up to and before crypto?
Yeah, so I guess growing up, my family is really traditional. So both of my parents are descendants of like the Chinese, like they're from China, but they are Malaysian. So then, they're really traditional, and growing up, they always taught me that, oh, you need to learn how to speak Mandarin. You should only eat Chinese food, all that kind of things. And as a kid, I've always been really rebellious, and I grew up watching like SpongeBob and like Gossip Girl, like Family Guy, right? And I always wanted to kind of leave that American lifestyle for me. So growing up, I've always, been a bit of a rebel. Like that's why until today I can't read Mandarin. Like I'm learning with my daughter. My daughter is 6 years old, and I'm actually kind of like learning Mandarin at her level. So then so that's my story, right? But then growing up, I've always had like an identity crisis because I look like an Asian girl, but I don't want to behave like one. That's until when I had my daughter. So I became a mom at 19, and that's when one day I told my daughter, she has a Chinese name. So I was telling her that, and she said, I don't want a Chinese name. And that is where it kind of struck me. It's like, holy shit, it's like, if she's not proud of her name, I feel that, she might even lose her identity, right? And that's when I told myself that we need to be proud of who we are. Um, so that's when I really, picked up all the Chinese traditions, cultures, and really looked into my heritage and everything. And as an adult, that is really fascinating for me, because growing up, I always try to like, I don't want to know anything about it. Don't tell me anything about it because it's lame, right? And the Asian cheongsam, which is the traditional costume, the qipao. I never wanted to wear it. I always think that is the most hideous thing. for me last time. And now I have like all the colors that I have in my wardrobe, and I would wear like every time whenever I have a chance to wear it. And I'm so proud to wear it. And that's why like I have this as my profile picture, and I always represent this NFT because I'm so proud of this, and I think that she is just so beautiful and elegant. And yeah, that's basically how the story is. And I do think that it's really important for the generation to come, especially with like Web3 and NFTs, where, you know, you could be in this virtual world and you could be anything and everyone and anything, right? I do think that it's also important to remember where we are from and also to have the representation if we are going to be in this digital world, right? So I think it's really beautiful to bring something so old school tradition into something that is so new and to a world that does not exist. And yeah, you know, if the metaverse is the future, and if this is where the world that my kids will be in, I want to make sure that my culture and her heritage will be there for them, with them. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think carrying over culture and tradition super important as you sort of get older, and I think you take a greater appreciation for it, even more so as we sort of age, right? I think we take a lot of things for granted as we're sort of growing up with our families around the tradition. Where did you grow up? Where did you spend your formative years? Was that in China or was that in Malaysia?
So here's a fun fact is that I have yet to, you know, visit China. So I've always been in Malaysia. The closest that I've been is in Hong Kong. That's where we have met. But my family is from Fujian, and I would love to go back just to see how it is, right? And I'm planning to get my visa done because that's a bit tricky. But I'm having to get that done, and I really want to go back just to see where my ancestors are from. Yeah, but I've growing up, I've always been in Malaysia. And I went to school in Melbourne when I was 17. So I lived there for 5 years. And then now I'm back in Malaysia. Yeah.
Nice. Well, that's something we both have in common then. I'm basically in Melbourne as we speak, and grew up here as well.
Nice.
So yeah. Did you like Melbourne? What did you make of Melbourne?
I love Melbourne. Like I just love it. I love the food. I love the people. Okay, I just don't like when it's during like the summer. That's when, you know, the flies come out and everything is just really terrible. But other than that, you know, I love everything else.
That's so strange. People, when they talk about or have any complaints about Melbourne, it's not generally about the summer. It's always about the shitty winters that we go through. But yeah, okay, I'll take your word on the summer. So what were you studying in Melbourne?
Oh, so I had a business administration degree. Yes. Growing up, I wasn't a really studious person. That's why a lot of people actually do ask me. They say like, Nicole, like you having a BA, you know, how did you end up in such a tech space? I'm just like, I honestly don't know.
Why did you choose business? Like, was that something you were pushed into, or something you were interested in?
So here's a story, because my family is really traditional, right? Growing up, my mom always told me and said that, you know, girls don't need a higher education. You know, she
Oh, wow.
she always told me, she said that once you turn 18, you will get a guy and you probably get someone that works in a bank. This is her idea on a happy life, right? So once you turn 18, you marry a guy that probably works in a bank, and you would live a happy life, right? So growing up, I always told myself, I said that I want to have a degree, you know, because that is something that I never thought that I would have a chance to do it. So growing up, my parents were separated when I was 17. So I was with my dad. And then shortly after, he passed on when I was 17. And that's when my life, it's okay, thank you. So that's when my life just kind of crumbled when I was 17. And before that. So when I was 16, 11 years ago, I'm 27 this year. So when I was 16 years old, I was playing a lot of Maple Story. And I was, I live a really normal life, right? Like I have pocket money to go to school, and then I was playing MapleStory a lot when I was 16. So I would save all my pocket money to buy A cash, which is the game points in the game. So one day I saw an article on Yahoo. It says the future of currency dot Bitcoin. So at the at the age of 16, I don't know what just hit me, but I just cashed out everything that I had at that point, and I bought Bitcoin. That's how I managed to even enter the space. Is 11 years ago. So back then I didn't have much. I probably had like 2,000 USD, which is my whole net worth. But for a 16-year-old to have 2,000, it's a lot. That's like my whole life
huge.
saving. So I bought Bitcoin at that point, and at that time the price was like fluctuating. It was like $80 to $130, and then sometimes it's 200 because every day it just goes up and down. And this was in 2013. So then later on, I just forgot about it. I kept it there, and then so once I finished my high school, I wanted to further my studies to have a degree, right? So back then I don't even know what will I be studying. I just tell myself I just want a degree. As long as I have a degree, I think to me that is something that is an achievement already. So then of course I was arguing with my mom. I was asking her to give me money to go to school, and of course for her she said no. If you want to go to school, you fund it yourself. So that's when I started my entrepreneurial journey as an 18-year-old. I started doing things online. I was selling, random things online. I was, making little bracelets. I was opening like little stores on like Instagram and stuff like that. And that's when I realized like, there's no way I could fund myself to go to school selling little bracelets, right? And one day I saw another article. It said Bitcoin at its peak. And I was like, oh wait, I have this thing, right? And that's when I went to my account. Last time I was using this exchange called Verbox. They don't even exist anymore right now. They've shut down. So then I was like, holy shit, I have that thing. And then I went back to the account, my Verbox account, and I was like, I could go to school now. It's like thanks to this. And that is when I cashed out. And back then at 18, I didn't. So growing up, I never managed to like go out of the country, out of Malaysia, and I always wanted to go to like a white country. So I was like, the nearest white country is Australia. So that's what I did. So I applied to the school in Melbourne, and I got in. I got in RMIT, and then I was like, I'm gonna go to like a white country, right? So that's where I went. So I went there, and that's when I got my degree, and I was there for 5 years. And the reason why, I have been in this space is that after getting myself enrolled there, I actually made a promise to myself. I said that I don't know what Bitcoin is. I don't know what blockchain is, but I will dedicate my whole life to serve this industry and to grow this industry, because without Bitcoin, I wouldn't be where I am today. So that's when I took my remaining funds and I opened, and I was investing in a lot of mining projects. So I was mining Ethereum in Malaysia because the electricity here is cheap. And, I had a friend that could help to manage that. So I invested in that. And that's where we were actually one of like the biggest mining farms in Malaysia back then in 2018. Yeah, 2017 and 18. Yeah. So we were mining Ethereum, and then that was doing well. And then that's when I started to invest in a few other projects and things like that. And ever since, I have always been really interested in this space. So when NFTs came about, I was like, oh, wow, not only, there is a thing where you could invest in coins, you could use your Ethereum to buy assets, which is to buy like little JPEGs. And then that's when I found it really interesting. And because I already have Ethereum lying down, laying in my wallet, so I was like, okay, I'm just going to buy NFTs. And that's when, I started diving in this rabbit hole, and and ever since I just couldn't get out. So I'm still here. Yeah, so that's basically my whole story.
What an amazing story. And Nicole, I think super inspirational too. I think just going through all the things that you sort of went to and being able to support yourself and pull yourself out. I mean, that's an amazing thing. And it's even more amazing that you stumbled across Bitcoin and crypto to really help you out of it, right? This is a really true feel good story for us all. So full credit to you. I'm sure your parents would be proud. I just saw your on Twitter account as well. It looks like you're also in Web3 consulting. Do you want to give us a bit of a background about that and what that is?
Yeah, sure. So it's actually a really funny story because ever since I launched 8sian, I have been to a lot of conferences, tech conferences, all that kind of events and social networking events. Like even there are people reaching out to me on Twitter asking me how do I launch NFTs and everything. So in the beginning, I was really happy to help. Most of the time they would ask me out to kind of pick my brains or jump on a Zoom call, and then weeks after weeks, I realized that I have been kind of wasting a lot of, not like it's kind of consuming a lot of my time just talking to people and giving them advice on how they could, integrate Web3 into their businesses. And one day, actually, my team member actually told me, she said, Nicole, you know what? Like, you need to stop giving out your time like that. You need to start charging. This is a consulting session, right? And back then I was like, no way, like I'm like, who am I to be charging like consultation fees and everything else? And he's like, no, Nicole, like you can't be, spending your time just giving out people advice and pick their brains or like to I mean for them to pick my brains and everything. And sometimes the call, would even end up to like 4 hours of my time, right? And of course, time is valuable. And then that's when I took his advice and I was like, sure, let's do that. And then we just built like a simple website. It's called 8Consultant.io. And, there is this service tab, right? Where it's, if you click on services, there is two services. One is a free consultation where it's like a 15-minute call or something. The second one is an hour call. And my rate is at 350 USD. So at that time, how did we even manage to have this, came to this rate is because back then it was the market rate based on my team member. And he was the one that actually set up this whole thing up. And at first I was like, nobody's going to pay for that to talk to me for an hour. And later on, it just kind of worked out. Every time when people, want to pick my brain, want to talk to me about things, I would just send them this link and be like, hey, you want to connect with me, let's jump on a call. And then a lot of them would get offended, right? They would say that, hey, you're not worth that much, da da da. But this is great because it kind of weeds out the people that would waste your time. Because if your business is important to you and you really want to scale into Web3 and this could be the next big revenue thing for your company, what is 350 for your company, right? So then, it's been 2 years since I started doing this. And I would say that it turned out really well. And the reason why I'm sharing is because I feel that for us, most of us, we live and breathe NFTs and Web3. We don't know that we could actually be consultants to brands, to people that don't know anything about it. Like every morning I wake up, the first thing I look at is CoinMarketCap or else it's my Binance, right? And that is us living and breathing NFT all the time. So this could be a skill set, this could be information, valuable information that Web2 people wouldn't know. And the reason why I'm sharing is because, this could be a different revenue stream for all of us, regardless of where you are. There are so many thousands and thousands of companies outside, and you could use that as a side income because we know that this space is brutal, right? This space is brutal for us and everybody of us, we have bills to pay, like for me, I have 2 kids, I need to send them to school and everything else. And I would say that on the side, other than building 8sian, this is kind of like a side thing that I do. And it's great because I also managed to meet amazing people like companies and brands, like Vogue Singapore and all these like billion-dollar brands.
Yeah, nice. Well, I think hopefully when the bull market comes back, they can start hitting up for a lot more consulting services, and I do think it will come. So probably a good time to be well positioned for some consulting services. So good luck on that. Yeah, looking forward to what sort of consultant comes up. Maybe Steve Aoki comes back and hits you up for some of his collections.
Yeah, maybe. You'll never know.
So what was your first NFT though? Like, do you remember what that was?
So my first NFT was actually Pudgy Penguin.
Oh, wow. They're still around.
Yes.
They're doing
No,
quite
my
well.
wallet. Yeah, but my wallet got drained. So actually my wallet got drained 6 times. 6 times. You know, the last time the links are just everywhere. And for me, I just like to click all the links, you know. I'm like, FOMO mint, you know, gotta be quick, and then just got drained. But yeah, my first NFT was Pudgy Penguin. And I loved.
When was that?
I think 2021. 2021.
Yeah, I think 2021. Like,
yeah, 2021. Yeah.
Apes.
Yeah.
All right.
2021.
Yeah,
oh,
nice.
sorry. So I actually launched my NFT in 2021 December. Yeah. Yes, 2021.
Okay. Nice.
Yes.
Yep. So that was still in the peak sort of NFT market. 2021 was a good year, right? Everything was sort of pumping up until maybe early 22 when everything sort of went pear-shaped. But so you got in at a good time. All right. And so you spoke about the inspiration for creating Asian as NFT. Can you tell us a little bit more about the project itself, what it is, and what you sort of aim to do with it?
Yeah. So initially, the whole idea is just to represent Asian women in the space. And actually, for our project, I managed to get a lot of women into the space. So I hear a lot of feedback. They say that, you know what, like the reason why I'm into NFTs is because I saw your project, and your project was the reason why I got into NFTs. And, you know, it makes a lot of sense to me because back then when I was trying to buy an NFT, you know, back then it was like all like, you know, the mecha hits area where everything is robotic, laser eyes, and just animals and whatnot, right? And it was really hard for me to be spending like thousands of dollars on this thing, right? So for Asian, I think it was really good because I was able to onboard a lot of women in this space, I was able to represent them as well, and for them to be proud and like a proud holder of the project. So after selling out, we were like kind of trending on OpenSea and everything. And then we also got Steve Aoki as the largest holder of Asian. So yeah, he actually bought the highest sale as well. Back then, I think it was 11 ETH when ETH was close to like 4,000. So he bought one of our rarest keys. And then he connected with us. And then at that time, I tell you, I was like starstruck. You know, he actually DM'd us and be like, hey, good project. Would love to connect. Here's my WhatsApp. And then my team was like, that's a scam. It's a scam. He has been hacked. And I was like, wait, why don't you try? You add him and then you'll see. So my team added him on WhatsApp. And then he's like, yo, it's Steve here, And then so happened he was having a show in Melbourne 3 months after. And then my team, we have three team member of Asian. They are in Melbourne as well, so they managed to meet him like backstage for his concert. So it's really cool. So yeah, he was legit. You know, he's real. But you know, ever since,
so awesome.
Yeah.
So maybe just for those that I'm sure most know who Steve Aoki is, but for those that don't, he's a pretty prominent DJ. So look him up. But he's also known as the guy that marks the top signal. So as soon as Steve Aoki buys your NFT, that's probably when you should be exiting.
that meme is so funny. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's awesome. So you went to Steve Aoki's concert in Melbourne. And then what happened next?
Yeah. So then, you know, that is where our project was kind of being seen around. And it was really exciting because not only that, we will manage to connect with a lot of other influential entrepreneurs as well. You know, like Randy Zuckerberg, she was our advisor. And then later on, Matt Higgins from Shark Tank also bought one of our rarest pieces. So I think he dropped like 10 ETH on our Jade Lady Goddesses. So that was such a good era for us. You know, we were all celebrating and everything else. But for me as a project founder, I was thinking like, what's next for the project, right? And back then I saw that Bored Ape had a collaboration with Adidas. And I told myself, I said that if there is one big brand, the largest brand that I would want to work with, it would be Uniqlo for clothing. And that's when, I delegated part of the fund to actually build a team. So we had a team of people, and what they do is they basically just do like decks, and they just go to LinkedIn, and then they just blast out and try to reach out to Uniqlo. And a few months later, we managed to secure a partnership with Uniqlo, and we were selling T-shirts in the store. So we have Asian T-shirts on the Uniqlo shirt, and that was, something that I could never imagine, because Uniqlo is so big in Asia, and there is no way like if you go to the store, they only work with like, Mickey Mouse, Disney, or like, and back then when I was talking to the team, they were literally asking me, they said that, Nicole, you don't even have a company. Why would you think that we would want to license your IP to sell, right? So that was so actually Uniqlo was the reason why I even incorporated my company. Because back then we were in Web3. Why do we need a company, right? And that is also the reason why we filed full worldwide trademark for 8sian. It's because of for that collaboration. So because of the investment that I have put in for the trademark, for the company, and for the people, for my employees, I told myself that I'm gonna build a brand. Just like how if you look at Mickey Mouse, you know that this is Disney. I want people to look at 8sian one day and be like, this is not just an Asian girl, this is 8sianNFT. And if you look at all my 5,000 holders, they look at an Asian NFT, they won't say that this is just a girl that looks like an Asian girl. No, they know that this is 8sian. So I think that this would develop further, and as long as I do more brand collaborations and kind of build products, like actual products, this could scale. This could be like the next IP of Asia. And if you look at Asian IP, other than the line characters from the messaging app, the little line characters, there is actually not much Asian IP. And I feel that I want to kind of try to be that, right? And yeah, so ever since we have 20 collaborations with 8sian. Last month, we collaborated with Charles and Keith to do a sandbox experience for them. And we have an upcoming one with one beauty brand as well. So yeah, I think right now our business model has changed from B2C to B2B. At the end of the day, I want it to be B2C, but then I feel that for brand building, it needs to have support. I need to attach myself with brand names, with credible brand names, so that I could build the brand for a larger audience. So yeah, that is kind of my vision.
There's some alpha there for anybody listening. I'm just browsing, I guess the collection now, and you got some really awesome traits. I'd just be curious to hear, like, what are some of your favorite traits in here?
I would say definitely the lady in the cheongsam with the traditional Asian costume, and there is one that has like a rooster bowl on the head. I'm not sure if you know the story of the rooster bowl. Like, it's a very typical Asian dishware. It's basically just like a rooster on a white bowl.
Yep.
Yeah, and there's one trait
cute.
where this is how it looks like. I'm gonna show you. Yeah, this one here.
Yep. I see it. Yep.
Yeah. So we have that trait, which I think that is such an OG. But yeah, I do think our collection, there's a lot of fun traits on it, and there is, I mean, like even if you are into like robots or cyborgs, there would be some that would appeal
Something
to
for
you,
you.
or yeah, there's definitely something for you.
I'm looking at the one with it looks like a bear hat. It's really cute. It's almost
Oh,
like
like a mascot.
yeah. That's cool. It's
Yeah,
a great fun
those are
collection.
really
And
cute
what
too.
Nicole, I had no idea that how hyped it got caught up with in at the peak of the collection. I mean, having Steve Aoki and all these brand collaborations, that's a huge win for the collection. So
Thank
congratulations
you.
on that, and I'm looking forward to what you sort of cook up next. And how did you get into, I guess my next question is, how did you get into CryptoPunks?
Oh, this is a good question. So I've always known that CryptoPunk is like the OG of the OG. And I always told myself that I need a CryptoPunk, right? But back then, I couldn't justify myself spending so much just for a JPEG, right? But I've always, at the back of my mind, I always told myself that I would enter someday when it dips, right? And of course, when you have that mentality, you will never go in because you don't know when is the lowest low. Even if it's low right now, you would say that it could go lower, right? So my trigger point, my FOMO, it's when I saw the collaboration with Tiffany & Co. That's when I lost it. So for me, I'm a girl, so I love jewelry. I love diamonds. I love anything pretty. Like, just take my money. So when I saw that, I was like, holy shit. It's like, I need that. I need that. I just need it. So then, they basically announced that collaboration on 1st of August. And I bought my CryptoPunk on the 5th of August. So it took me 5 days to really pull myself together, pull the funds together. I had to sell some of my coins, just for this, right? And okay, the reason why it's also because back then there was actually a lot of floor punks, right? And a lot of them are guys, like guy punks, right? And for me, I always wanted to have my NFT to look like me. So long hair, preferably black hair with like, because this is kind of like my iconic look. I don't want something weird or like funky. So then, back then she was a bit pricey. She's definitely not on the floor. And I was like, holy shit, it's like, I really needed this. So yeah, I just pulled the trigger and I was like, fuck it, I'm just gonna get it right now, just for the Tiffany & Co. Punk pendant. And I got it, and then I bought the Tiffany & Co. Punk pendant. And when I saw it, like when I received it, I think was, I don't know, a few months after, I was like in love with it. I just love every detail of it. Yeah. So it's so worth my money. People are like, why would you spend so much on this thing? And I was like, just look at it. Just look at how pretty it is. Have you seen it? I want to wait. Hold on. Let me show it to you. Okay, I got it here. The listeners must be like, wait, where is she going? Like, because Max and I are on video, so I will want to show him. Okay, so this is how it looks like.
Wow, she's beautiful. I think I did see her at Punk's Brunch as well. Yeah, it's beautiful. I at the time when it came out, I was just like 30 ETH. Yeah, I don't think it's worth 30 ETH, and I'd never wear it. But now that I sort of see them around, I'm thinking I should have got it. I so should have got my
You know what is really interesting? When I was wearing it, actually a few auction houses, because I was going to a lot of like, what's it called, like launches and whatever, and I was meeting this like people from like auction houses, and they saw it and they're like, Nicole, if you ever want to like even lease it to just put it in their place, they would pay me like a rental thing just to have it placed there. So yeah, because there's only 250 in the world.
Yeah, that's amazing.
So yeah, so that is like, side income if I ever need, I'll be like, yeah, I'll rent it to you. It's just like how I'm renting a house or a car.
That's amazing. Anybody with a pendant, a Tiffany's pendant, it might be extra alpha for you there. That's amazing. And how were you thinking about traits at the time? Were you looking at any other traits besides the straight dark hair?
I wanted the clown eyes because it's just so cute. Look at that. Right? Yeah. I like something simple, and I like how, she has like the clown eyes, because I think sometimes I could be a bit goofy as well. So I think it's just so me. And she's just so girly, she's really girly. I love it. It's like, I will never sell. So the other day I was talking to my daughter. She's like 6 years old. And I told her, I said that, you know what, when next time when mommy's not here, the only thing he will inherit, because her name is Tiffany. It's like, the only thing you will inherit is this. It's the Tiffany & Co. CryptoPunk that comes with an NFT. And yeah, probably like a few Bitcoins. That's it. Like, don't expect me to give you land or houses or cars. It's like, the only thing you'll have is like digital stuff. Maybe a few lands in the metaverse. I don't know, Yeah. She was just looking at me weirdly. She's like, what are you talking about, mommy? Yeah.
Amazing. Well, she is a beautiful punk, and congratulations on that. And how have you sort of found, I guess, the CryptoPunk community since you've been into CryptoPunks?
Honestly, I have just recently been invited to it, thanks to you. You actually invited me to the community. Yeah, I think it's because I've been really busy with Asian as well, with all these collaborations and just really working on the brand, just trying to see how is our direction in the long term, that I don't really have a lot of time to be a part of the community. But when I was in the punk brunch and I was just connecting with other punk holders, I think that everyone in CryptoPunks are like just so cool. Like the market could be down, up or down, and we're just like, yeah, chill, because we have been through so much. We have been through so much that like we don't even care anymore. And I love that because I go to other meetups that are smaller meetups, and the only thing they talk about is always the floor price of the NFT project. And I'm like, can we talk about something else? And I think as holders of CryptoPunk, we have kind of established that we're here for the long run. So even if my CryptoPunk is worthless one day, like I'm still so happy and proud to be a part of this. So we are literally making history, and I think that's what I love about the community. We're just so chill.
And if you were to look across the CryptoPunk community, do you have any favorite punk personalities?
Oh, this is a good one. There is a lot of cool people in CryptoPunk. There's a lot of cool people. I would say, okay, a few celebrities that not kind of mini celebrities, not big celebrities that I often connect with is like JJ Lin, I would say. Yeah, so he's based in Singapore, and
is he got a punk?
yeah, he has a punk, and he has a
I
Tiffany
had no
and Co
idea.
punk pendant as well. Yeah,
Oh,
so
cool.
like we were talking about, our punk pendants, and that's how we just connected. That was even before I know that he was famous. It was really interesting meeting people from the punk community. Yeah, there was just a lot. Like there's Curie from Korea.
Yep. Curry's amazing.
Yeah,
Lovely. Super lovely.
the Curie. And then there's you, of course.
Of course.
And then there is also this guy I totally forgot, but I met him in the punk branch. But I was also connected with him on Discord, where he was making like the gifs for punks. What is his name? I told him.
The punk animator.
Yes, the punk animator. Oh my god, I feel that he's just so great. Honestly, the first time when I saw the GIF and I was like, "Can you please make one for me? How much would it cost?" He's like, "It's free." I was like, "Wait, what? It's free?" And he's like, "It's free." I was like, "No way! You should charge me. I would pay for this customization." So like the people that I meet is just so amazing. So when I met him in Punk Brunch, I was like, "No way!" And he was like, "Asian mom," and I was like, "No way!"
Yeah, he's awesome.
I just love this virtual family. Yeah.
Yeah, he's got a punk pendant as well. So I actually went with him to pick it up here in Hong Kong when he was coming through. I was expecting champagne and everything, but the champagne didn't come out here in Hong Kong, so we were a little bit disappointed.
Oh man. Oh, you know what? Okay, here's my story time. So when I picked it up in Malaysia, it was really funny because I was in gym clothes. I was just like, just not. I wouldn't think they would care. And then when I went there, they was like, "Oh, you're the punk pendant." And I was like, "Yeah." And then they started bringing in the champagnes and bringing like macarons and everything. And then after that, I was like, "Okay, like thank you." And then they said that that you're the only person in the entire country that has a punk pendant. And I was like, "Really?" And they was like, "Yeah." And I was like, "Wow, I like that representation for my country. I'm so proud of it."
That's amazing. So are you the only punk in Malaysia? Actually, no. I think
I'm pretty sure there are punk. Oh yes, so I'm in the punk community in Malaysia. And there is like 9 of us.
nice.
I'm the only girl though.
Nice. Do you know Ethan Mage? He runs another project called Path Down. So he was at Punk's Brunch as well.
Is he Malaysian? I don't think he's Malaysian though. Is he Malaysian?
I think so. Yeah. I think he's based in Malaysia.
No
I could be wrong.
way. Really?
Yeah.
I would love to
Gosh.
connect if he's based in Malaysia.
Yeah, I'll connect you guys for sure. Oh, amazing. Sounds like there's a lot of activity in Malaysia too. So it's good to sort of see that there's the punks all over the world, and especially from Asia as well, right? Because I do definitely think that we're sort of a little bit behind the times a little bit and catching up. But I think like it's sort of, catching up a little bit in terms of Asia, in terms of NFTs, meme lands coming out, and we had Ape Fest that was just here at Hong Kong. So I think starting to hopefully get on the radar a little bit more, and that NFTs are a bit more serious business than before. All right. So I'm going to ask you just to summarize again, just briefly, because I know you touched on a little bit, but how would you describe punk culture for you?
I would say it's like a virtual family that I would trust. Like if you're a punk holder and I see you in the punk brunch, like I don't know why, but there would already been a established trust, not like where I could just give you my eve and you wouldn't run away, but like if there is a business opportunity or even there's any thing, like I would trust you for that. I do think that we look out for each other, although we don't know each other. And I think that is the beauty of the space, because we know that for us to make it, we need to help one another. And it's the power of the community, and that is something that I really value for CryptoPunks. Yeah, and I'm really happy to be a part of it. Really happy to be a part of the family. And I just hope that there'll be more women in the space. When I was in a punk brunch, I was so excited. I was talking to all of the girls that I see. The guys, not really interested, but I'm more interested with the girls because I do think we need more girls in the space, So if you're a girl and you're listening to this and you're thinking if you want to get a punk or not, oh my God, get it. Once you get it, then you reach out to me and then we can be like punk besties.
we need to get Zaf a punk. We need to try and convince her to get into one. But I think you summarized punk culture really nicely there too. And you're right, there's a sort of unsaid trust that's almost automatic when you meet a punk. And I think most people are quite generous with introductions and networks. If you sort of need any help with something, they're generally quite resourceful. So I think you're spot on with describing punk culture in that way.
Another thing, I feel that if because there are so many NFTs to choose from, right? And even to justify to spend so much on a punk, I do think so. This is why I do think that whoever that owns a punk has, is basically like tasteful. Like you guys have definitely made the right decision, that the OG will always be the OG. The CryptoPunks is like the king of NFTs, and no matter what other people say, what other projects say, that we are better than CryptoPunk, our artwork's better. It's like nothing beats it because of the history, So that's why everyone in the CryptoPunk that owns a CryptoPunk, I think everyone is just amazing. Yeah. And they have good taste.
We have good taste, and I think it's more if you know, right? If you want to control the cool kids,
yes.
Buy a punk. How do you feel about V1 punks?
I don't have a V1 punk, but isn't the reason why we have V2 is because of the V1? Because there is like a flaw in the contract. That was what I read about. But I think people do. Okay, the only thing that I found it really confusing is that I didn't know the difference between V1 and V2, and I recently just found out about it. It was actually the background. So V1, if you guys don't know, V1 punks looks exactly like the punks we have today, but the background is purple, right? Whereas the V2 punks, the punks that everyone owns, like the ones that we call it as CryptoPunks, has a blue background. So then there was many times I was mistaken that a lot of people told me that they have a punk, and then when they showed me the punk, it was a pink background. No, purple background, sorry. Yeah, so that's where it was a bit confusing. And then when I saw the price, I was like, wait, what? Like it's that cheap, So yeah, I don't know. It's a bit confusing. Are they trying to like do something about it? Like the V1 punk?
Yeah, so So, Nicole, I think when you get a chance, because I just had a look at your history here on the CryptoPunks website. So your transaction history, your punk was actually claimed by Hemba. So Hemba was the guy that basically found the flaw and was basically selling his punk, but also claiming the ETH back as well. So basically, he was getting a free punk, and so and he claimed 1,000 punks. I actually had him on PunkCast as well a few episodes ago. So if you have an opportunity, go back and listen to that because it's really fascinating around the V1 sort of story, and it's a pretty big part of I guess our CryptoPunk history. And so, and it is a little bit contentious in the sense that um, in terms of how it might be positioned. If you were to buy a V2 punk and somebody else has got your V1 version, who actually owns the punk, right? What can you use it for, and all those other bits and pieces. And so there's a whole plethora of issues that are coming out, and then there's this whole question about, well, which one was first, right? And does it really matter? And so there's a lot of there's a lot of conjecture around it, but I think V1 punks are definitely clearly a part of a history. They came from the same artists, Matt and John. But yeah, so I think there's just and that's why I was curious to sort of see if you have a view on that, and that's okay. I think you should maybe go back and have a look into it because it is part of our sort of journey. For me, I think it's one of those interesting stories where we're going to continue talking about CryptoPunks for the long term, which is a good thing because it's just any attention accrual to the collection is always going to be a positive thing. But I don't ever see CryptoPunks being at threat or feel threatened by the V1s at all. What about the Yuga acquisition? Do you have a view on I guess the CryptoPunk IP being owned by Yuga?
I think it's great. I think it's good because at the end of the day, it's the community that lifts up CryptoPunk, and it's not because of Yuga. I did not buy in CryptoPunk because Yuga bought it, and I don't think as holders we even care about it. Like even one day, if it's there is a change of hands, as long as the community still sticks together, as long as Max, you're still here, I would still be proud to be owning a CryptoPunk and to see you at another Punks branch. But in terms of the direction of it, I'm not too sure about that. But I do think that collaborations like Tiffany and Co. I don't know if it's approved by Yuga, because it's more of like, hey, like if you own a CryptoPunk, you could buy my NFT and I would customize this for you. So my whole point is, one day Hermes or like, even like Ferrari or Lamborghini, they could say that if you own a CryptoPunk, and if that is proven in the blockchain, you'll be able to have a customized car. And I think we don't need approval from Yuga to be like, hey, you need to ask me first. And I think that is the beauty of NFT. It's open. No one owns anything. Yes, the creator gets the credits for the artwork and everything else, but other than that, the direction of it, the company does not dictate that. And I think that is something that is beautiful about the space.
Absolutely, and I think you summarized it up really nicely there as well, Nicole. I think speaking to various sort of punks and their views on Yuga, some of them are pro, some of them against, and I'm sort of the view that similar to you is that punks are a finished product, and I didn't buy into punks because of Yuga. Wasn't expecting anything from them, and so everything that we get is just an absolute bonus on top, right? And so so I'm with you on that, and I think it's probably net value accretive to punks overall. But we'll see as time goes on. But
I do have a
Nicole,
question for you though. I know
sure.
that this is an interview with me, but I have a question. So for you, because you have probably spoke to most of the punk holders, you have went to all of the punk activities, events, and everything. What is one thing that you would like to see for like a brand collaboration, or even to see where punks would be at? Because punk we have achieved quite a lot. We have been to auction houses. We have done like collaboration with Tiffany and Co. and all these amazing things. What is one thing that you would like to see? from your perspective?
Like to see out of the CryptoPunk community in general, or are you talking about in
Yeah,
terms
or
of from you?
probably just like collaborations, or from the community, product placements. I don't know, maybe like a movie or something. Yeah.
Yeah, so like I don't know, like for me, I might take a very different view. I think when it comes to CryptoPunks, I'm sort of the view that they should be a little bit revered in historical and elevated in a classy way. And I think there's a fine line between that and when you commercialize something, it becomes less cool. Like when you're listening to, when you were the first person to sort of listen to an up and coming band, and then when they go mainstream, it's changed. The vibes change. It's different, because like the kid down the street likes them now. It's just like, okay, that was like so 1990 or whatever it is, right? So like, it's
It's
less
just like
cool.
Taylor Swift.
Well, yeah, and like would I like to see crypto punks on skateboards and t-shirts and all that type of stuff? Probably not. Like for me, it's like it's a piece of artwork that has a very strong signal for Web3 and crypto and NFTs and the values that we uphold and the leadership that I sort of see punks holding. And I sort of find that any material mass commercialization of that sort of erodes the brand a little bit, and not to sort of be elitist and snobby as well. That's not my thing. It's just I just want to make sure that they're sort of elevated and respected in a meaningful way. So like the museums that have been done, they've been quite classy. The avant artwork pieces have been a nice sort of classy touch. But for me personally, I think if we continue to double down and strengthen our community and network. And I think we've made some really good inroads with the Punk DAO punk brunches globally that we've been hosting. And those in real life meetings always add like another layer of trust. And I think when you sort of experience that and you build real connections, it becomes harder for you to sell. So indirectly, for me, it's like, well, we can sort of sit here and talk about floor price, but indirectly by strengthening our community, we effectively increase the network and the floor price of our collection, because now you're buying into a very high caliber network of people that are genuinely building things and doing things and looking after each other and so providing access. And I find it really amazing and wonderful. Like if I travel now, I can probably hit up some punks that are around the world, and we can go for lunch and coffees and brunches and dinners, and I just feel like we're long lost friends, and it's weird because like, we're hanging out on Telegram and Discord, but when we sort of meet real life, it just feels like we've known each other for a while. I mean, like I met Phantom Scribbler in Korea, and we're catching up like old times, like we've known each other for ages, and it
I
was just
love
this sort
that.
of amazing sort of feeling. And I think that when you go through that and you experience that, and for those punks that haven't gone to a punks brunch or a meetup, try and connect with other punks, because you'll start to get what I mean, and you'll start to double down on building your trust and relationships in your network. And if you're not in the Discord and you're not in the Telegrams and stuff like that, please do sort of reach out and join those things, because the thing about trust is it's consistency built up over time. So you just need to keep showing up on Twitter and Telegram, Discord, and build up your trust points, and those networks will open, and I think you'll maximize the benefit of owning a CryptoPunk. And so for me, if you translate that out, it's not t-shirts are cool and all those other bits and pieces, but it's those relationships, access to deals, access to networks, access to all these different wonderful experiences that you probably wouldn't have access to anywhere else, right? And I think that's the intangible part that's really hard to quantify in terms of a simple floor price of 50 ETH or 60 ETH or whatever it is right now, right? So yeah, I don't know if that answers your question in a roundabout way.
No, it
That's sort of
does,
my
and
take.
I do agree. Yeah, and I
Yeah.
totally agree, because I don't see CryptoPunks having like a 8 fest kind of thing. And I do think that it needs to be more of like a exclusivity, where events are like closed doors and it's only for the CryptoPunks. It's only for the OG of the OG. And yeah, that's why I really enjoyed the punk brunch. And I hope to go to more of these. Everyone I meet there is just so amazing. Everyone there are like innovators. And it's crazy because the whole room, so I go to a lot of events, right? I go to like conferences and go to parties and go to event networking events. a lot of the time people will talk about what are they doing right now, or like, like the present. And only in the punks brunch, I realized everything that we're talking about is the future. It's like as if we live in the future, right? And that is so crazy to me. But at the same time, it really motivates me to do, greater things, things that people that have never been done before, it can be done. And everyone in the room thinks so. And I think that is something that is really amazing. And sometimes you, as an entrepreneur, as a business person, we always feel really alone in our journey, especially with our vision that we want to do. But talking to other people that have their own vision as well, it just kind of makes me feel that I'm not alone in this boat. I'm not alone in this Web3 world where people think that I'm crazy. I'm just spending money on JPEGs. And there are other people that is crazy like me, like you, Max, that believes in me too. So that's why I think, if you're a punk holder, it's really important to join all these events. I totally agree with you. Yeah, and that is the true value. It's not the floor price. It's not about, how much your punk is worth right now. It's the value of the people that you meet. Yeah.
Well, hopefully you can set up a punks brunch in Malaysia or KL soon. I'll definitely fly over for that if you ever host one.
Oh my God. Maybe we should. Maybe we should do that, because we have 10 people in the group chat and they're all like entrepreneurs, business people. They're all like on Tatler, really, really amazing people. And I think it would be a good one, Yeah, we should. We should, because I've actually never met them in real life. We're always in the group chat. We have never met. I have never met.
Would love to. And I did see your feature in Tatler magazine too. So congratulations on that. But
Thank you.
For those that are listening, Tatler magazine is sort of what would you sort of say? How would you describe Tatler magazine? It's a high profile,
kind of like a lifestyle business magazine.
Yeah. It's basically for the who's who here in Asia. So I think if you're on Tatler, you basically made it. So Asian Mom has made it.
Thank you.
Asian Mom, this is super fun chatting. Really love getting to know you and your story. And obviously, if you're ever in Hong Kong, definitely hit me up. Would love to sort of catch up and grab a bite or something like that. But if you could pass on a message to the next owner of your punk, 2977, what would you like to say to them?
Oh wow, this is a difficult one. I don't want to say this, but I hope I don't sell it. Because I'm in love with it, and I have like the physical, Tiffany & Co. pendant that comes with it, and my daughter's name is also Tiffany, and I told her that this would be something that you would inherit next time. But if I ever sell it, I would say that she is a beautiful piece, and it's because of her I managed to be a part of the punks community and meet amazing, wonderful people. So I hope that this punk would also bring you the same luck as well, and would inspire you to kind of build and be a builder in the space. Yeah.
Amazing. Asian Mum, what an inspirational story. Thank you so much for joining PunkCast. Any final closing comments, and what's the best place for people to find you?
So I am reachable at 8sianmom on X or on Instagram. I'm more active on Instagram. And thank you so much for having me. It was lovely speaking, and I hope to see you in Malaysia soon. We definitely need to have that punks meetup in Malaysia.
Absolutely. Yeah, let's definitely do that. I'm always down for a brunch in Asia. Guys, that wraps up another episode of PunkCast for the week, and we'll be back next week with another amazing punk. Bye for now.